Slurpty derp mudgies, how you guys all doing? I hope you're doing great. This will be a little short video today, but a very important one. I've had some problems with my lungs recently. I think I had some kind of viral respiratory thing, and so I'm trying not to talk as much. Plus, I've got loads of lessons to teach as well. But basically, I had a student recently who is great and he's a legend, but he did something that is a really old school kind of snare layering thing that people sometimes still fall into. And it's an old sort of myth that I wanted to debunk because it's something that I used to try and do as well. And I realized it took me a while to realize that it's kind of really not a very good thing to practice. And that is basically the concept of layering up your snare to have a transient as one part of the sample, a body as one part of the sample, and a tail as one part of the sample. So it's actually, in my opinion, in my experience, really, really difficult to create a full cohesive sounding snare by separating those main key points of a snare across different samples and trying to bring them together. It just makes very little sense to me now that I kind of understand. And the reason for that is it's just really hard to make it sound like one snare, and there's already so many snares that have already got a transient and a body and a tail that are already working perfectly. There's thousands already online, so you're just making work so much harder for yourself if you try to piece together a snare from a transient, a body, and a tail. Because you might, for example, this would be how it would work. You found this snare, and you think it's really got a really nice transient, it's nice and tight, but it doesn't have enough body maybe. Then you find this one, you think, oh, that's got a lot of bass and beef underneath it, that's got a nice body, and then you're like, oh, let's put them together. So I've got one that's like the transient and one that's the body, and then it ends up, you try and sort of blend them in together, but basically you're fighting this battle because that's a synthetic snare that it does have a transient on it already, and I can try and shape it and take some of that off, make it a bit softer, and then just use the transient from the other one and then put them together, and it kind of works a little bit, but that's sort of as good as I can go. So I've sort of achieved what I was going for, kind of, but if I was to scrap that and choose another snare that already has both, already has a full body and a good transient on it, that sounds already 100% better. Or even another one over here, this is a good one with character already. It's got a nice attack on it, and it's got a fair bit of weight in the low end as well, so both of those, I'm nowhere near when I'm trying to layer them up together to create a bigger snare. I'm absolutely nowhere near the quality, and I'm also going to struggle to get that realistic shape as well, because I'm sort of trying to blend in the shape from two samples together. Yeah, sure, it can be done to an extent, but it's a sunk cost fallacy. Basically, it's completely you're just completely wasting your time. So don't fall into that trap, because it's just a waste of time. So pick a good snare, and then if you want to do some layering, let's take this one. Let's take this snare for example. Right, if I want to do some layering, then let's actually layer things on top that will improve its depth and character and not interfere with what we've already got, which is already a snare with a body and a transient, right? So for instance, a bit of noise like this, like a noise hit, doesn't have a sharp transient at the beginning, and if it does, we'll take that off a bit. But that's quite nice, atmospheric noise. Yeah, all we do when we blend the layers in, take out a bunch of low end, and make sure the transient is off, so you're not interrupting the body or the transient of the main snare. Yeah. So that's quite a nice layer. Let's clip the master here quickly. Oh, that's not a clipper, that's a transient shaper. Here we go. So that's quite a good layer. Let's blend that in a bit better. Turn it down a bit. Pretty good. Then we've got. Let's try this one as well. It's another noise hit, but like a bit more aggressive almost. This one we're gonna have to shape the end of it a bit. There you go. Nice noisy tail there. So two types of noise, building more rich harmonics in the whole sound. And finally, we could also add in a live snare. There's a nice, realistic acoustic snare drum, but it's quite soft. Let's take out some low end on that. Transient shape that one a bit, and it's different though to the original because it's acoustic meets synthetic, so harmonically very different, so easy to blend. So there we go, lovely live snare also on top of it. Great little layer there. And also, we don't have to actually use new samples. We can just use our main snare and just resample it. So we can run it through an effect, like Beam, for example. I've put it through this effect called Dirty Marbles, and just turns it into this kind of granular file. So let's bounce that out. So it's sort of granular version, right? And we'll just sort of shorten that again as well, so it kind of has a bit of snap to it. Make it a bit shorter, maybe. There you go. That's lovely. Nice, like kind of fast movement from the grains on it. I'm going to keep it short. And then, yeah, similar thing. Bit of low end taken out. Bit of transient shaping. And then you got this lovely grainy layer. Let's put all our layers together. Take that live one down a little bit. Maybe shorten that one a bit as well. And now it's gone from what was already a good sample, but now to having even like 15 or 20% more depth and character, all in the sort of background and the high end. Yeah, so nice. That's a nice way to layer up a snare, and then you're not trying to like botch together two snare drums. You're trying to. It's when people try to do that with like the transient and the body of the snare, it's almost like you've got two tables that you're trying to make into one table. Like imagine your music production desk. You're like, this is a really nice desk. Like I've got this white table here, but there's this sort of brown cabinet over there, and I'm gonna like put them together. So I've got like half a table and half a cabinet, and then I'm gonna like balance my TV on that. And I'm going to balance my keyboard across it, and they're like slightly different heights. That's kind of what it feels like you're doing when you're trying to like create a new snare drum out of like its different parts. You know, that's my interpretation anyway. So I hope that was helpful. Just a little reminder, just from my experience of snare layering and the do's and don'ts. And so basically, find that one snare that's already good enough, and then if you want to layer it, do things which add extra texture and harmonics that are something new, that brings something new to the table, but don't feel like you have to like independently create the micro sections of a snare drum. That's just really like making it hard for yourself, you know. All right, I hope that was helpful to you guys. Thank you very much for all your support on the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and make sure you check out my Patreon as well if you want to support me and you want me to keep creating content. It heavily relies on Patreon support, so thank you everyone who's already on there. That's it from me today. There'll be more from me very soon. Take care. Much love.